welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm doing what I do at the beginning of every new year, and that is sharing the top Jewish/Hebrew/biblical baby names for the new year. So for 2022, what are the most popular Jewish and Hebrew names? If you are expecting a new baby this year, I hope this video gives you lots of beautiful name ideas. If you are, let me know in the comments and let me know which one is your guys' favorite. There might be some of my faves in here too, which I'll definitely let you know. I, if you didn't know, just had a baby in 2021. His name is Zachary. I was gonna point to his sign, but you can't see it, but it's above my head. It says his name, Zachary Theo. And I have two other little boys named Max and Corey, and I think I shared all about each of their Jewish names and how we chose them. If not, maybe I'll make a whole separate video on that. Anyways, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Darian. I make videos about being a mom and being a Jewish mom, and I would love to have you as one of my subscribers. Just hit that red button down below, and all it means is when you go to YouTube, you'll see my videos pop up in your feed. Oh, and if you want to follow along with my everyday life as a Jewish mom, then don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Okay, so let's jump in. I decided that at the end of this video, I'll share how I came up with this list and what is my scientific data analysis information on it. But for all those who don't care, let's just jump into the names. Okay, so I'm gonna switch between boy and girl. I don't know why I thought that'd be more fun. Also because so many names can be for either boys or girls that maybe you'll see one in a different category that you might not have looked in and be like, actually that could work. Okay, so my number one name, I've got them all listed on my phone. So my number one name for 2022 for girls is Maya. I think that this name has been super popular for years, and I think it's only going to continue. I think what's really cool about popular Jewish and Hebrew names, or names that are also popular in Israel, is that they might be very popular within certain Jewish communities, but in the US as a whole, they might not be as popular. So you kind of get the benefit of having a popular name, but also not having a name that's too popular that everybody else has. So in Hebrew, Maya means spring or brook, and I think it's very beautiful because it connects to the word mayim, which means water. And in Judaism and in the Torah, mayim or water is of course our sacred connection to life. So it's mentioned throughout the Torah. It's constantly referred to in Jewish folk tales, stories from the Bible. The importance of water is of course woven throughout, like Miriam putting Moses in the basket in the water. That's just the top example that comes to mind. But obviously it is a life-sustaining force and such a beautiful name to connect to. So my number one name for girls is Maya. And my number one name for boys is Eitan or Ethan. They're kind of the same name. Eitan would be more of the Hebrew pronunciation of it, but you could use either one. And in Hebrew, the name Eitan or Ethan means strong and enduring. So I really like this name. I like the way it sounds. I like that it's short, but also strong. And I think this is a great choice. It's also one of the most popular names in the US in general, Ethan, but you could go with the more traditional Eitan as well. But either one are awesome names for boys. Number two for girl is Abigail or Abby. This one is such a popular one, but it's so beautiful. It means the love or the joy of my father. So I think this is such a special one for all the daddy-daughter connections, any special daddy's girls out there. I think this is such a beautiful name. And there is Abigail is also a name mentioned in the Torah and a traditional Jewish name. You might hear it pronounced Abigail. And of course you could always shorten it to Abby, but such a beautiful and cute name. Next up for boys is Micah, or the Hebrew pronunciation, which is Micha. And this is such a special name for me because my son Max's Hebrew name is Micha or Micah. So Micah was a prophet in the Torah, and the name Micah means who is like God, so it carries a really strong and beautiful significance with it. And of course, it's one of my favorite names. Next up for girls is another A name, and that is Ava, which means life in Hebrew. And it also is one of the most popular names in 2021 and definitely expected to grow from there into 2022. I think there's really been a popularity of short names and a lot of vowel sounding names. Is that just me? But names like Ava, Ethan, Abby, a lot of that vowels to start, I think are gaining more and more popularity. Okay, next up for boys is another one of my favorites, and that is Theodore, which shortens to Theo, which means gift from God. And although Theo is originally a Greek name, it is very traditional for Jewish babies or Jewish boys to be named Theo or Theodore. One of course, the most famous Jewish Zionist, Theodor Herzl, had the name. So although it's not a biblical Hebrew name, it's definitely a popular Jewish name. Then back to the girls' names with another vowel starting and sounding one is Eliana. I love this name. I feel like this is one that used to be really popular, then dipped, and now is coming back. And it means my God has answered. So El is God, Ana is answered. And I love the meaning of that name. It actually reminds me of my son's name, Zachary, which in Hebrew is Zachariah. Not one of the most popular 2022 names, but I'll just mention it here because in Hebrew it means God heard or God answered. So similar to Eliana, like especially for those who maybe have been struggling for a child, have had infertility or other struggles like that, I think Eliana is such a beautiful name for a girl. Okay, then jumping back to boys, I gotta mention Levi. It has been a top name for the past few years. I remember it from my other baby name videos, but definitely still a strong one. Definitely popular outside Jewish communities and inside Jewish communities. It's a popular Bible name. Levi was one of the 12 tribes of Israel and also one of the sons of, is it Jacob and Leah? Let me double check. Yeah, Jacob and Leah's third son was Levi, so definitely a popular name. I feel like it can work for so many families because it also has like a strong American sound to it and like American traditions as well. So even if you're like not very Jewish but want a name that does have, biblical or Hebrew meaning, this is a great one to choose. Okay, then for girls, I'm gonna round out with Mila. So Mila is, again, not a Hebrew name, but very popular Jewish name and one of the most popular names for 2021. And I'm expecting for 2022 as well. So there's lots of Jewish baby girls named Mila. Not a Hebrew one, but it does have, I think it means it said Slav. They said it was Slavic for industrious and hardworking. So that's a great name. But it does have this like Hebrew sort of sound to it. I kept it in there because it is popular among Jewish families. But yeah, Mila, such a beautiful name too. Okay, and then last up for boys, I'm gonna go with Caleb. So Caleb is a biblical name. He was one of the scouts when the Israelites crossed the desert and were peeking into Israel or Jerusalem. So the name has a really strong biblical sound to it, but it also is easy to say, easy to pronounce and easy to pronounce and spell, and super popular. Definitely going to be a top trending name for 2022. So that is my list of baby names for 2022, and now I'm going to tell you guys how I came up with this list. So I used 3 different sources for this. One is there's a website that shares the top popular names in Israel. So of course, if we want to know what's trending in the Jewish community, gotta check what's going on there. 2 is I used just the overall top trending names in the US and then picked out the Jewish ones. And then my 3rd source is a website called Kveller. I've actually written for them a few times, but they have a lot of tons of helpful info for Jewish parenting, and they come up with a baby name list every year. They actually do tons of different baby name iteration blog posts and stuff throughout the year, so I'll link it below. You can check it out. But between a combination of those 3, that's how I make my predictions for 2022. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit that red subscribe button down below. I'll see you in the next one. I think my next video that I do might also be on this topic. I might just share my 3 boys' names, my 3 boys' names, how we came up with them, what they mean, and do a video like that. Do you guys want that? If so, let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.